It's a lot of crazy stuff going on out here, man. What's going on, everybody? Another video, another week. Conscious Approach. Thank you for tuning in. My name, as always, is JV Wins. I'm joined by my good friend Dogon SS. Talk about this week's Garden Variety social commentary. Just a quick reminder to anyone who's watching this video, if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, please like the video and subscribe to the channel so that you can get the notification for all new content published to the channel. We certainly appreciate you continuing to support logical content. And with that being said, man, we're going to get right into it because we got some good stuff this week. So apparently the voice behind the FN Meka controversy is suing the creators of the project. And so we wanted to react to that. Last week, or on the last video rather, we gave our thoughts on how we felt about this project in and of itself, as well as our reaction to the backlash. And we got into it. We went in. I know I went in. I know I went in. So if you want to watch that, that video is available on the channel. Go ahead and check that out at your leisure. But we went in on this. We thought the backlash was ridiculous, and we thought that the project in and of itself was both strange and, you know, Dogon brought up an interesting point that this thing could just be a test dummy type situation for more projects like this to come in the future that can be backlash proof. So, and I thought that that was a very good point to make on your part. So, and I didn't even think of that angle. But so, you know, what came of that now, all of the backlash, Capitol Records ended the project with this AI robot avatar. I'm going to program my brain to stop using the expression AI because it's not AI. This is an avatar. This is an avatar voice acted thing. It's a digital avatar with a voice behind it providing lyrics, and they're calling it AI rap, but it's not AI. It's avatar rapping. And so there's all of this controversy. It was accused of appropriating Black culture. It was accused of being minstrel, all of that good stuff. Again, we already shared our thoughts on that. And in the wake of the controversy and the backlash, the voice behind the artist itself, the individual who's providing the lyrics to this thing, is now suing the creators for what he feels is like some sort of breach of terms of service or contract, or however you want to explain it. He's kind of jumping in on the side of those who are upset at how it all played out, even though he was a willful participant in the whole damn thing. So we'll go ahead and play his explanation of the action that he is taking against the creators of this, and then we'll talk about his comments once that clip has finished.
My lawyer's been reaching out to them, to Brandon Lee and Factory New and their attorneys, but we haven't heard back as of yet, and we haven't got an offer, so we're still waiting on that. But it's definitely legal action being taken place right now. Well, at the time, like, I was young, you know what I'm saying? I had no representation, so, and they didn't really have the money behind it as of yet, so they promised me equity. So I'm like, okay, we're just gonna, basically it's like a collaboration, so we can do this together and just like build it up instead of like upfront money and stuff like that. So basically, I was doing the music for them, and then writing and doing all the stuff for them, and then they just ghosted me out. Basically, just be compensated and shine light on, because I'm sure there's other artists that have done things and haven't got credit for what they've done and were compensated. So I want to kind of shed light on that and show that it's not cool just to use the culture and just ghost people and not compensate them. Because I know this industry, that happens a lot. So that's basically what I would like to happen, be compensated and shine light on the situation. I feel like certain things they posted after they stopped working with me was just like the guy getting beat by the police. Like, I would be like, no, that's not a good idea. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's different things. Like, because I was giving them the cool aspect of it, like, in the culture and all that stuff. So I felt after they jumped me and stuff, it just got corny and just it went left, like a whole different direction. So I feel like I could have at least had an input to keep it down the narrow path, you know?
Well.
Yeah. So now he's suing, because he is claiming that after his contribution, the project took a direction that he didn't know it would take. You can believe that. You can believe that if you want, but that's what he's claiming. What is your reaction to what he just said, as well as him suing the creators, which I'm assuming is the label? It doesn't get specific in terms of whom or what the creators are exactly, but I'm assuming that it's the label. But what do you think about that?
I just personally think it's bizarre. It's bizarre from beginning to end. There is no point in this where any of it makes sense. And I get, young, ambitious guy trying to get into the game. So he sees a venture that he thinks is kind of whatever, and he wants to be in on it so he can get his way into the industry. So I get his angle. But again, like, bro, what were you really signing up for? Like, none of it sounds legit or cool, like from the beginning. Well, I was trying to make it normal, and it was doing all this extra weird stuff, and I was just trying to, I get that angle, but still, it's bizarre. He seems, a little interesting. So I'm not, let's say this. By looking at him, I'm not surprised that he did this. So take that however you want. Because it's all strange to me. But how do you feel about this, man? How do you feel?
Yeah, I just think this is ridiculous. So how many times did he use the word culture? In that,
quite a bit. He used it quite a bit.
So he brought up the idea that he felt some type of way about the fact that they, whoever they are using the culture, and then he's not being compensated for it. So let's key in on let's key in on the fact that he is acknowledging that this project was symbolic of the culture being used. Unless he was oblivious to who the creators of the project were while he was working on this, he has no excuses for not knowing that this project could have went in this particular direction. And I do not believe he was oblivious. He knows who he was working with. He knows who he was working for. You know who you're working with. You know you're working, like, you're not walking into that room when you went into the room to discuss this project. Okay, it didn't look like the officers of Def Jam. I can guarantee you that. Okay, that's not what he was dealing with. So you know what you're dealing with going in. What do you expect the outcome to be, especially if your role outside of providing your voice is minimal? What do you think is going to happen? Furthermore, if you were aware that the culture was being used in a certain capacity, why wouldn't you suggest that you have a greater involvement than merely providing your voice to the project? There's just so many questions that I have, and I'm not going to give him the pass for being young, because when I was young enough to know that I was a part of something that could potentially be exploited, I was going to work as hard as I possibly could to ensure that it would not be exploited. So I just don't give people that youth card. I stopped doing it. I don't have the patience for it. You can spare me with that. I think he was trying to get a check. The check that he got was not adequate, and now he's lashing out because he didn't get compensated the way that he thinks that he should have been compensated for it. And furthermore, I really do think that he is trying to take advantage of the negative publicity that the project incurred to curry favor for certain elements in our community. I think that if the backlash wasn't as swift as it was, he wouldn't be suing. Maybe he'd be talking about how, he wished it would go on differently. Maybe he'd be talking about how his contribution wasn't commensurate with what he received on the back end for that contribution. I don't think he'd be taking legal action. I think him taking legal action is like an extreme measure that he is taking in order to make it clear to the culture, to the
Mhm.
community, that he is on its side. And how dare they appropriate it in this way? Not only am I going to voice my displeasure with how this thing turned out, but now I'm also going to sue. Because what better way for me to show solidarity with my people than to sue and be litigious? I think, like the whole project in and of itself and the reaction to it, this is a dog and pony show. I'm pretty sure he has advisors and people behind him who are sort of helping him come to this particular course of action. But I think it's a joke. Like you said, I think it's bizarre. And I think if anything else, he was complicit in said use of the culture, in said appropriation. He was just as complicit, and he was just as much a willing participant as the individuals who put on this thing. That's how I see that. All of this grandstanding is for social media troll world, so that people can say, man, this guy's standing up for himself. He should have stood up for himself when he signed on in the first place. Or maybe he shouldn't have signed on at all. Because I don't know what you thought was going to happen when you walked in there and you saw who these people look like who were in charge of this thing. So it's a record label. Okay, this wasn't the offices of BET, not BET in 2022, but BET from the 90s when there were actually black people in these rooms. This wasn't Def Jam, run by what's his name, Russell Simmons. This was Capitol Records. So I think he has no one to blame but himself. And this whole lawsuit thing is a measure to make himself look redeeming in the eyes of those who look upon this thing as a stain on the quote unquote culture.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I didn't even bother to think of the angle of him saying that they were, stealing the culture and he ain't getting paid about it.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's so like, but if they were paying me, then well, I ain't got no problem.
Exactly.
And so, but he comes off, and when I was saying like I'm not surprised by looking at him, by just his appearance and the things he say, it sounds like he comes off like the Soulja Boy, Tekashi 6ix9ine. I can name others that just did anything or do anything to go viral. Like hearing like Soulja Boy's success story of how he was able to get to where he was at, he was going to be famous regardless. And it was going to be at any cost. And they would do, wild stuff, in the MySpace days, basically spamming and scamming just so he can get plays. And so those people are going to make it. And so this guy right here comes off as one of those people that would do anything to get on. And he did anything. Because that's literally the definition. Honestly, never been done before. You talk about the statistics in human history. There has never been an artist who sings the songs written allegedly by a robot. This is the first. And he was the guy to do it. And so yeah, so he's willing to do anything to get on. And so now he's going to use this because, well, now people know his name. Hooligan something, right? Something hooligan. All right. And so, yeah, this guy that's power in the name, man. And so this guy here, bizarre type of individual. Hopefully his music that he makes for himself isn't bizarre, but I wouldn't put anything past. I wouldn't put anything past this guy.
Neither would I, man. Yeah.
But this whole shenanigans that we even weighed in on last week with this whole thing. Yeah, man, we'll see what ends up happening with all of this stuff. But I just say, man, this is we're living in the future, bro. We're living in those times. When we was growing up, man, we was sitting there watching. Now ain't no flying cars. You know what I'm saying? But they working on the self-driving ones.
Yeah.
And so we're here, man, and we're living in it. And so, yeah, why not have something like this? And so, yeah, man, this is the signs of the times.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you know, and yeah, that's pretty much it, man. My reaction to him is that he looks like a court jester at this point to me. He does. He looks like a court jester, and I feel bad for him. But what I've noticed, you know, is that these just don't appeal to my personal sensibilities. So when I look at him and I say I feel bad for him, usually it's an indication that this is something that's happened for him that's going to yield positive outcomes. That's what I've noticed. Like whenever I find someone who has done something publicly that is unbecoming, and I find it to be cringe and unbecoming to the rest of the masses in the modern world out here and the way that this stuff works, that's actually something that's positive. It's like the opposite. It's a flipped inverse of how I see it. So I may think that I may believe that he has embarrassed himself, but I don't think that that's the way it's playing out for others who are, I guess, for others who I guess are less socially and consciously aware. I just think that in light of the way people responded to it, you can't convince me that he couldn't foresee this type of response. And yet he willfully involved himself in the project anyway. And he did so because he was looking for that check. But the check was inadequate and the response was what it was. So now let me try to parlay that and leverage my position to try and take advantage of that dynamic as much as I can. And to me, I just kind of think it's a joke, but I think the entire situation in and of itself is a joke. It was a joke. It continues to be a joke. At this point, it's a giant spectacle. And the main problem that I have with this, because otherwise I find it to be entertaining, but the main problem that I have with this is that because it was wrapped within the context of hip-hop music, and hip-hop music is synonymous with Black culture, it has the potential to become a larger conversation around what constitutes Black culture. And that's what bothers me the most, because I have an issue, as you know, because we've talked about that on this channel several times. I have an issue with the fact that this music is synonymous with Black way of life. And so that's the only real issue that I see with it. Otherwise, this whole thing is a joke, and so is this kid.
Yep. 100.
Yeah. And with that, man, we're going to go ahead and move on, man. Good luck to this kid. I hope you get whatever bag you hope to get from the deal via your lawsuit. It is what it is.